Live stream audio check. Check one, two. Live stream audio check. Check one, two.
Okay, good morning, everyone. As we begin today's meeting, we would like to acknowledge that we're gathering here today on the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat nations, who have called this land home since time immemorial. We recognize the Mississaugas of the Credit as the original rights holders and the signatories of the Treaty 19, the Adjutant's Purchase of 1818, and the agreements made therein are foundational to our nation-to-nation relationship. As a city, we're committed to our ongoing role in reconciliation through meaningful action rooted in truth, justice, and respect. We're grateful to the original caretakers of this land who have ensured we're able to work, play, and live in Brampton now and in the future. Good morning once again, and welcome to our meeting of Brampton's Committee of Council. All members are present today with any participating online? Okay, except for Councillor Medeiros, who has not joined us yet. Everybody is present here in person. With that, we will move on to the approval of the agenda. Madam Clerk, do you want to just provide an update on some added items?
Through you, Chair, the following items have been added to revised agendas. 6.4, delegation from Nikema Palmer, Director of Early Years and Childcare Services with the Region of Peel. A video was added. 7.1, the staff update, Government Relations Matters. The presentation was added and further revised. 7.2, discussion item at the request of Councillor Santos regarding the provincial decision on automated speed enforcement. Discussion item was added and a proposed motion was revised and added. And 7.3, correspondence from David Lang regarding 7.2 has been added.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Does any other member wish to add any business item on today's meeting? I see none. We have, sorry. Councillor Pelletier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'd like to add a discussion item on 311 reporting and escalations.
Madam Clerk, what item number would that be?
Through Chair, it will be 12.3.1.
12.3.1, discussion item added at the request of Councillor Pelletier regarding 311 reporting and escalations. Councillor Santos.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I think it should probably be under corporate services, 311. I think 12.3.1 is legislative services. Yeah.
We can put it under corporate services.
So what number would that be, Madam Clerk?
That will.
Does anybody else in the meantime have any additional items to be added?
Sorry, that'll be 9.3.1.
9.3.1. Perfect. Thank you. With that, I have a motion moved by Councillor Pelletier to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. That carries. Do any members have a declaration of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act for any matter to be considered on today's agenda? Seeing none, the clerk will so note for the meeting minutes. Moving on to the consent motion, I'll start reading the relevant agenda items and members can identify any items to be held for debate. Item 7.1 is staff update for government relations, will be held for discussion at 7.2. The added item, a discussion item regarding ASC cameras. 7.3, correspondence regarding 7.2, should go into consent. 9.2.1, staff report, important and commemorative dates 2026. In consent. 9.2.2, staff report, purchasing activity quarterly report, second quarter 2025. Held by Councillor Pelletier. 9.2.3, staff report, active consulting services, service contract, second quarter 2025. In consent. Item 10.1.1, staff presentation, active transportation master plan implementations. Okay, that will be, are you holding the presentation or the staff report or both?
Presentation to go into consent, 10.2.1, if we can hold that, please.
Thank you. Councillor Power holding item 10.2.1, which is the staff report. Active Transportation Master Plan implementations, Howden Boulevard, bicycle lanes, Ward 7 and 8.
For that, it's important to show the presentation.
Will be held by Councillor Santos, the presentation. Item 10.2.2, staff report, always stop review, Inspire Boulevard and Russell Creek Drive, Ward 9. In consent. Item 13.1, referred matters list. In consent. Item 15.1, closed session report, proposal for a 2-year artificial intelligence pilot proof of concept program. In consent. Madam Clerk, could you summarize the items that are on? Okay. Item 15.1, the closed session report will be held by Councillor Palashi. Okay, with that, Madam Clerk, could you just please summarize items that are in consent?
Through you, Chair, the following items are included on the consent motion. 7.3, correspondence. 9.2.1, staff report, important and commemorative dates, 2026. 9.2.3, staff report, active consulting service contracts. 10.2.2, staff report, always stop review. And 13.1, referred matters list.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I have a motion moved by Councillor Power to approve the consent motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you, and that motion carries. Moving on to announcements, we have one announcement today from Reverend Blessing Ajayi, founder and executive producer, Brampton Rising Stars Talent Show. Reverend, if you can please come forward to the podium and make your announcement. You will have up to 2 minutes. And councillor sponsor for this announcement is Regional Councillor Broad.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to use this opportunity to thank the City of Brampton, your worship, Mayor Brampton, Mayor Patrick Brown, and I want to thank the councillors and every supporters, Councillor Bra, Councillor Broadpower, and all the representatives of the city during the time of Brampton Rising Star Talent Hunt Show Season 2. And today we have the honor to present our winners. The first winner, which is Zantla Bakok. Come on. And then also the second winner, Mary Casey. And the third winner, the VA Dance Group. And our first winner is 9 years old from the Ukrainian community, the second winner from the Nigerian community, and the third winner again from the Ukrainian community. I want to use the opportunity to say that this platform is given not just for Brampton alone, it has attracted GTA and Ontario P region to come to Brampton, giving the platform to shine. And this is what we all have done, make it perfect, and we are looking forward for Season 3. So I want to also, this is our souvenir from the Brampton Rising Stars, which we are going to give to all the councillors of City of Brampton. We are very grateful to have this opportunity. Thank you. So if we can have a picture with the councillor, that would be...
Definitely, thank you. But before we get to that, Councillor Broad, if you want to say a few words.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Reverend Blessing, for having our Rising Stars Season 2 and bigger and better than last year. And just want to say congratulations to all the winners. You know, I think it takes a lot of hard work and practice to make sure that you're practicing every day and to be up on the stage. It takes a lot of courage. So thank you to everyone who attended. Thank you to all the winners and to all the parents who made sure that they came and watched their practices and made sure they came there on time. And Reverend Blessing, to make sure that they have a platform where they can perform and show their talent. So really truly is the rising stars for season 2. It was amazing to be here with our council members, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Power, Mayor Brown, and we had an amazing night that day. So thank you again, and definitely would love to have a picture.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Power, and if council can please join us for a photo. Thank you.
Finally, people that are tall enough for me to stand on. I know. Made the comment too quick. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, where are we looking? Thank you once again, Reverend, for that amazing announcement, and Councillor Broad for your remarks. Next up is delegations. Please note that each delegation shall be permitted a maximum of 5 minutes. We have a few today. So the first one, 6.1, a delegation from Leo O'Brien, local community advocate, Heart Lake Happenings Community Group, regarding acknowledgement of City of Brampton staff. Welcome, Leo. You have up to 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Before I start, I just wanted to say that I have a reputation for being a little long-winded, so I put together something that guarantees I'll be probably well within the 5-minute limit. Okay? And it's so nice to be here and see everyone. I feel the love. I feel the energy. Good morning. My name is indeed Leo O'Brien, and I have been living here in Brampton for 35 years. I grew up mostly in the West Island of Montreal and moved here exactly 1 month after I got married. Talk about an extended honeymoon in more ways than one. And with Thanksgiving being less than 2 weeks away, I thought it would be both very timely and very appropriate to specifically acknowledge the dedicated efforts of those employees of the City of Brampton who certainly deserve our recognition and our gratitude. And based on my own experiences and personal observations over the recent years, I'd like to now share with you a few of my more humble insights regarding just how fortunate we all are to be living here in this fair land known as the City of Brampton. The first group of dedicated workers that I would like to highlight are the front desk customer service representatives at all of our local community recreation centers who tirelessly help us citizens utilize the many recreation center programs and services that are made available to us. Especially now, in our retirement years, my wife and I truly enjoy being so well taken care of by these very courteous and very accommodating customer service representatives. And to say that depending on the day and what drop-in program one might be signing up for, there have been some memorable moments along the way, especially related to my wife's aquafit classes being as popular as they are, and sometimes because of that, the demand for these classes often exceeds space availability. And due to those kinds of dynamics, there have been some days where getting into those classes was kind of like winning a mini lottery. But through it all, the diligent front desk customer service representatives have always managed to handle all of their front desk duties amazingly well. The second group of unsung heroes that I'd certainly also like to sing the praises of are those who work as 311 customer service representatives, who many of which must be by now already destined for sainthood, due to the kind of incoming phone calls that they are likely to be receiving on a very regular basis. I personally have used this valuable service in so many remedying ways over the years, and within that easy-to-use process, I have always received great results. And I also admit that contacting these incredibly helpful 311 customer service reps can often end up being a form of feel-good therapy. The third group of valued service providers are the patrolling Brampton security guards who manage to keep our parks free of late-night shenanigans in the summertime that can invariably deprive Brampton residents who back onto Parkland the quality of life that all residents of Brampton expect. And on this point, I would be remiss if I neglected to give credit to two of our former city councilors by the name of John Hutton and Paul Paleschi, who together helped to ensure that there would be enough additional funding made available so that all parks in Brampton would receive adequate security patrols and not just parks with city structures on them. Now, as I'm about to wrap it up, my main point in all of this is to encourage all of us, and I do mean all of us, to be more engagingly appreciative in the moment. In the moment. In other words, don't miss the opportunities we get to give thanks to someone who is there for our benefit. Do it now. Do it today. Do it as often as you can. It's as simple as an appreciative smile, a nod, a thumbs up, or perhaps even a cluster of thoughtful words directed at that person in front of you or who is on the telephone line with you. And it's really that simple. Try doing it, and you'll see for yourself, and you'll feel good too. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan. If you could please wait there. I have Councillor Santos on the board to speak to your delegation. Yes, come on back up. Thank you. Councillor Santos.
Thank you, Leo, for the delegation and thumbs up. I just wanted to add that I think we need to say thank you to Councillor Paleschi and Councillor Brar. A lot of the things that you mentioned in terms of improvements to service at the recreation centers, as well as security that's happening along our creeks and dealing with some of the safety issues in the area, are 100% because of our local councillors who are advocating for the area. So thank you, Councillor Paleschi and Councillor Brar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Santos, and thank you, Mr. O'Brien, for that delegation. I have a motion moved by Councillor Santos to receive this delegation. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. This motion carries. Moving on to our next delegation from Tiffany DeCoito, founder and director of Breaking Borders Sports, regarding recap of 2025 Breaking Borders Sports Tournament. Could I please have you come to the podium? Or is this online? Oh, right here. Welcome, and you have up to 5 minutes for this delegation.
Okay. Good morning, Council. Okay, so my name is Tiffany DeCoito, and this is my business partner, Krista Scott. Together, we created Breaking Borders Sports. Last summer, we hosted our first Breaking Borders tournament here in Brampton. We had 26 teams, including 2 from Dominican Republic, 24 others who traveled from across the GTA. While none of the teams were from Brampton, they all came here, stayed in Airbnbs, ate at our restaurants, and directly supported our local economy. Breaking Borders is more than just baseball. It's about diversity, culture, and community. We bring kids and families together from different countries and backgrounds, and we give them all a chance to experience Brampton. So I'd like to play the video, the recap, so you guys can see it.
Breaking Borders, it's day 2. It's Saturday, and today we're starting off the morning very, very, very strong. Breaking Borders! Breaking Borders, it's your girl Tasia, your favorite social media coordinator, and today I'm here with so many phenomenal baseball players, and I'm so excited to bring you guys along the Breaking Borders journey, and I can't wait for the rest of this weekend.
Think about the days when we sat down. Is it the other way? Is it the other way? Swing around, come on, chill with me. I got your favorite show. We got it on my TV, but we don't have to watch that, no. I'll turn off the radio. So won't you wake up, then we can make up. It's not a hookup, don't think about it too much, too much. You just need to pick up, then we can make up. Don't think about it too much, too much. Don't think about it too much, too much. Don't think about it too much, too much. Don't think about it too much, too much, Swing round, come on, chill with me. I got your favorite show. We caught it on my TV, but we don't have to watch that, no. I'll turn off the radio. So won't you pick up?
So as you can see, the event was powerful, and we're just getting started. For 2026, we're already working with recreation staff and with Gage from Sports and Tourism. We're planning to bring more international teams, including Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Ecuador, and even a Pakistan league. Breaking Borders puts Brampton on the map as a hub for international youth sports and culture. Thank you for supporting us as we continue to grow this event, and we're helpful and helping us make Brampton a destination where the world comes to play.
Excellent. Thank you, Tiffany, for that delegation and the awesome music in council chambers this morning. I know we had the team from Dominican here earlier this year, so it's amazing to see it in action through that video. But thank you for doing this in Brampton and hosting it here.
Thank you. Thanks for seeing you guys. Bye.
Thank you. I have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan to receive this delegation. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. That motion carries as well. Moving on to our next delegation. Delegation from Nasser Bashir, property owner, regarding Committee of Adjustment minor variance fees. Welcome, Mr. Bashir. You have up to 5 minutes for this delegation.
Hi, my name is Nasir Bashir. My application for work permit in the first place should not be directed to the minor variation in first place, as a bylaw passed under the section 34 of the act that requires that no parking space be provided and maintained for the sole use of the occupant of one or both additional residential unit prevails over the requirement set out in the paragraph 1 of the section 2. So I don't know why the city staff directed me to go for a minor variation for just for that parking space, which is no longer required because the bylaw has been amended and that bylaw prevails over whatever city of Brampton is asking me to do. So that's a hefty fees of $11,949. And I paid that from my credit card. I don't know how I'm going to repay that. So I need that fees refunded back to me 100% because there is no requirement of the parking for an additional residential unit. And I have quoted that bylaw. I have the copy with Madam Rovina over there. And even the scope of work, what was in my application was only like 4 steps of the stairs to be relocated 90 degrees toward the right. And the cost of that project is under $2,000. And I'm asking to pay the fees of $11,949. Doesn't make any sense. That fee should be related to, it should be in the slabs. It should be related to cost of the project, something. If your cost of the project is under $1,000, for example, and the city wants $11,949 for a minor variance for that thing, it's not even justified. And in first place, my application should not be directed to for minor variation. The bylaw has been amended, and that bylaw prevails over the requirements set out in the section 1 of the paragraph 2. So I request that my fees should be refunded to me 100%.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Bashir. I have Councillor Santos on the board to speak to this delegation.
Thank you so much, and through you, Mr. Chair, thank you, Mr. Bashir, for coming to delegate today. I would just like to refer this back to staff to take a look at and perhaps provide some clarification. So just a referral back to staff, and look forward to hearing more about the situation with staff to get that clarification for you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I have a motion moved by Councillor Santos to refer this delegation to staff for a report back. You said, or just for a report back to council. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. The motion carries. We have our next delegation from Nikema Palmer, Director, Early Years and Childcare Services, Region of Peel, regarding childcare workers and early childhood educators appreciation campaign.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Before I begin, can I request through you, Mr. Chair, an extra minute to my delegation to be able to share the video that's embedded?
Sure. If I see no opposition here at council, and this being the last delegation, you can please proceed.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nikema Palmer, Director of Early Years and Childcare Services at Peel Region. Each October, we celebrate our early childhood professionals for their work in nurturing and caring for children and their families across Peel. It is my pleasure to kick off our 2025 Early Childhood Professionals Appreciation Month by joining you today. So today I will highlight the work of staff in our early years and childcare sector and share how, as leaders in government, we can show our appreciation and also recognize the challenges that these staff face in this profession. Next slide, please. Peel has one of the largest early years and childcare system in the province, and the city of Brampton makes up a significant portion of that system. In Brampton, there are 220 childcare centers with over 12,000 spaces for children ages 6 and under. Brampton also has 289 licensed active home-based childcare with space for up to 1,700 children. At the heart of this massive system are over 2,000 dedicated educators, without whom the programs would not be viable. There are 24 early on centers in Brampton, and staff in these centers engage families in inclusive programs with their children. They talk with families about child development, and they also connect them with community resources. There are also 40 resource consultants who provide special needs resource and services to children who need that extra support so that they can fully participate in childcare. So here's a short video that highlights appreciation for early childhood educators for the work that they do each day. Can you play the video, please?
Knowledgeable and caring professionals who create engaging spaces and experiences to help children learn and grow. In Peel, those of you working in licensed childcare settings make it possible for families to go to work, to provide for themselves, and to contribute to our economy. In Early On programs, you provide engaging activities for families with young children and answer questions about child development. And through our special needs resourcing programs, you make sure that all children feel included in childcare settings.
We came here from when he was 8 months. So now he's 2 years and we're really enjoying to be here. Thank you so much.
Every day morning she'll, Mama, we'll go to babysitting. She'll say. That is so, we are so thankful to this institution and this government and all these things for this chance to.
Hooray for teachers. Everybody in the crowd shout, hooray for teachers.
You are all dedicated workers and essential to our Peel region. We value and appreciate the caring work that you do every day to help our children, family, and community thrive.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide, please. This video speaks to the impact of our early childhood professionals in supporting child development and enabling residents, particularly women, to join the workforce and support the economy. Unfortunately, retaining early childhood professionals is a major challenge in our sector. Low pay, limited benefits, and a lack of recognition for years of service has led to a 22% turnover rate among qualified early childhood educators. The wage floor for a registered early childhood educator in Ontario is $24.86 an hour. This is below Peel's living wage of $26 per hour, making it challenging for our registered early childhood educators to afford to live in Peel. In comparison, school board registered early childhood educators, who are also funded by the Ministry of Education, offer a starting pay of approximately $31.59 per hour along with benefits. The shortage of early childhood professionals is not just a local challenge, it threatens the success of childcare expansion across the province. In Peel, as we work to add over 10,000 new childcare spaces by December 2026, we need a thriving workforce to operationalize these spaces for our children and families. Our early childhood professionals deserve wages and benefits that are appropriate for their role in providing children with the foundation that they need to grow into future leaders. Next slide, please. So how can you help? As part of appreciating this unique group of workers, we need to recognize them and the challenges that they face. Appreciation and recognition for the sector must include competitive wages and benefits that reward their experience and qualifications. At the region, we have been advocating to the province to address these concerns, and we would love your support to bring forward a stronger, united voice. The professionals who care for our youngest deserve our collective efforts to address their biggest concern. Next slide, please. To help us show appreciation for our early childhood professionals, please light the City Clock Tower blue on October 21st so that all Brampton residents can celebrate our early childhood professionals and their contribution to the community. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you today, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Palmer, for that excellent delegation. I can vouch for the work that early childhood educators play. We use the services at Early On at Gore Meadows, and seeing the love and the effort, the incredible effort that the team there puts into each and every child that walks into that space, it is truly amazing. Just a question here. I don't see any questions on the board. Just a quick question. You said at the region of Peel, we are advocating to the province about this issue. Is that correct?
Yes, we are advocating to the province. We have shared a letter from the chair to the province to highlight the challenges of our early childhood educators and to ask the province to consider increasing salaries, wages, and benefits for ECE so that we're able to attract and retain them in our sector.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, Ms. Palmer. I guess we will have that discussion amongst colleagues as well and see how we can further amplify that advocacy that the region is doing. Perhaps I would keep it at the regional level, but see other ways that we can be a better voice on this issue. With that, thank you for your delegation. I have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Singh to receive this delegation. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, this motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next item, item 7.1, under Government Relations Matter, a staff update from Andre Hoffman, Manager for Government Relations, is here with the presentation today.
Hey, good morning. And I'll jump straight into the presentation. We can move to the next slide. Through the chair, this week we have no regional council meetings scheduled. Instead, there's 3 committee meetings, and we would like to highlight one item for you. We can move to the next slide, please. The Health System Integration Committee features item 5.4, which is related to the role and contribution of the community response table in regional response to community needs and improved partnerships. City staff observed that Brampton staff have participated in table's work since its inception during the COVID-19 pandemic and can continue to engage through the table for improved awareness and understanding of system as well as community needs. We can move to the next slide, please. Moving on to provincial announcements, last Friday the province has announced its 2024-25 public accounts, which provide audited financial results for the provincial fiscal year ending March 31st, 2025. Some of the highlights include a lower than anticipated deficit at 1.1 billion at March 31st, 2025, which is significantly lower from budget 24 forecast of 9.8 billion. Also, the overall program spending added up to 212 billion, which represents 8.7% or 16.9 billion increase year over year. Overall revenues added up to 226.2 billion, with 24% increase on major infrastructure projects. Additional insight into provincial budget as well as policy direction will be provided through the upcoming fiscal economic statement, which the province confirmed will take place on November 15th. Can move to the next slide, please. Also last week, the province has announced a hiring freeze for provincial agencies, which will apply to provincial agencies, boards, and commission public bodies. The announcement also included a point that the freeze reflects a similar policy that has been in place for the Ontario Public Service since 2018. Ontario has committed to work with agencies, boards, and commissions to ensure that human resources strategies align with this direction. We can move to the next slide, please. Also last week, the Premier has formally confirmed prior reports that the province intends to introduce legislation next month that would ban the use of municipal automated speed enforcement cameras across the province. The legislation would come to effect immediately upon royal assent. Also announced was an intention to introduce requirements of municipalities with existing speed cameras in school zones to install large new signs to slow down drivers by mid-November of this year, with permanent large signs with flashing lights to be in place by September 2026. The Premier has reiterated intention to establish a new provincial fund that would help affected municipalities to implement alternative safety measures. There are no further details on the fund provided during that announcement. City staff have engaged with provincial government as well as Association of Municipalities of Ontario, actively advocating for the viability of the program, reflecting discussion at council last week. We can move to the next slide. I would only point out that there's also agenda item today very much related to this announcement. In another provincial announcement, back in May of 2025, the government has introduced a proposed Geological Carbon Storage Act as part of Bill 27. If passed, the legislation would create a legislative framework to enable safe, responsible, and permanent storage of carbon dioxide at a commercial scale while protecting public safety and environment. Some of the details include requirements as to where carbon storage could occur, as well as process for applying and obtaining licenses and permits. City staff are in the process of submitting a formal comments to the ministry, seeking more clarity and information on environmental risks, and more importantly, city's role in the permitting process, as well as any impacts or influence on official plans. City is also recommending collaborative workshops or feedback sessions with municipalities and public bodies to prior to enactment of the legislation. Draft submission is attached to today's presentation. Can move to the next slide, please. Moving on to federal announcements. Last week, the federal government has announced that it is listing the Bishna Gang as terrorist entity under the criminal code. The terrorist listing results in the fact that anything owned by the group in Canada, including property, vehicles, or money, can be seized by law enforcement, as well as provides law enforcement with additional tools to prosecute terrorist offenses. The criminal code listing can also be used by immigration and border officials to inform decisions about entry into the country. Staff would like to point out that the city has written to the Prime Minister as well as Minister of Public Safety as recently as this June, requesting this designation to be put in place as a result of criminal activities as well as distortion activities that were taking place in the region of Peel. Can move to the next slide, please. Also last week, the federal government has directed Canada Post to begin its transformation as a result of May 15th, 2025 report by Industrial Inquiry Commission, which has informed series of measures that Canada Post is expected to implement, including adjusting its mail delivery standards, as well as shifting to a community mailbox delivery system versus door-to-door delivery, and as well developing a plan for modernization and right-sizing of the Canada Post postal office network. Following the announcement, the Canadian Union of Postal Workers has launched a national strike, and as a result of that action, mail and parcels will not be processed or delivered for the duration of the national strike, and some postal offices will be closed. Service guarantees are suspended for items already in a postal network. Additionally, no new items will be accepted until national disruption is over. The city will issue a service and information update to provide a better awareness for the public in terms of service impacts to city mailings. We can move to our last slide today. Our last slide provides an overview of AMO's response to the provincial announcement on planned automated speed enforcement. AMO has expressed its disappointment as well as pointed to the proven record of the program in terms of increasing road safety. AMO's goal is to advocate and work with the province towards modification and improvements to the program versus banning it. City staff has been actively engaged with AMO, working with the association to strengthen its advocacy. AMO is gathering data from municipalities to quantify the ban's fiscal impact, and following that, the data would be used to request the province to fund the costs incurred by municipalities. And with that, we conclude today's presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Andre, for that presentation. Seeing no questions on the floor at the time, I have a motion moved by Councilor Santos to receive this presentation. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. That motion carries, and that segues us to our next item, a discussion item at the request of Regional Councilor Santos regarding the provincial decision on automated speed enforcement. Councilor Santos, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and I'd like the clerk, if possible, to just put the motion up on the screen. This motion is in follow-up to our council discussion last week, where all of us spoke against a potential ban from the province, and re-emphasizing the point that the AIC program, particularly in Brampton, is about public safety on our roads. And the motion, I just want to say thank you as well to city staff my colleagues who have informed and provided feedback, particularly Mayor Brown, Councillor Barr, Councillor Paleshi, Councillor Keenan, and others. And over the past few days, been speaking with councillor colleagues across the province, including Toronto, Ottawa, Burlington, Hamilton, and Waterloo. And consistent with what we saw from AMO, this motion really highlights the best practices and the hard work that we've been doing in Brampton to try to get this right. And for the most part, we have. And I don't want to really speak further about it because many of us shared our comments last week. So I'm just going to read the motion itself. So bear with me because it's quite long and substantive. And again, thank you to Michael Krault and Legislative Services team, as well as Kevin Miniker and other folks in Public Works who have helped to bring this motion forward. Whereas the province of Ontario filed enabling regulations in December 2019 to prescribe the locations, fines, and signage for municipalities to utilize ASC as a tool to address speeding and improve public safety. Whereas the province's ASC legislative framework, together with provincial encouragement in 2019, has led municipalities such as Brampton, where auto insurance rates remain among the highest in Ontario, to implement ASC technology to improve safety, reduce speeding, and prevent serious collisions and fatalities. Whereas the provincial government, through the Ministry of Transportation, is responsible for the legislation, regulations, and program standards governing municipal ASC programs. Whereas some cities have implemented ASC incorrectly, Brampton is part of the vast majority of municipalities who have implemented best practices endorsed by the Ministry of Transportation and the Ontario Traffic Council, including speed thresholds that prioritize public safety, resulting in safer roads. Whereas consistent with local, regional, national, and international research by third parties, including Sick Kids and Toronto Metropolitan University, the Canadian Automobile Association, the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police, the Traffic Injury Research Foundation, and the Ontario Traffic Council, the City of Brampton's ASC program has resulted in significant reductions in speed, increased speed compliance in the community safety and school zones, and changes in driver behavior as outlined in our September 10th Council report. Whereas the average recorded speed for tickets issued in Brampton is 15.7 kilometers an hour over the posted limit, demonstrating that Brampton's existing threshold is both reasonable and aligned with best practices, whereas between 20 and 30% of ASC ticket revenue is collected by the province of Ontario. Brampton is working to improve road safety and uphold its commitment to Vision Zero through its ASC program and complementary traffic calming measures such as speed bumps, speed humps, roundabouts, road diets, and improved signage in order to reduce speeds, prevent collisions, and promote lawful driving behavior. Whereas the City of Brampton has already implemented a significant number of speed bumps, likely the most in the province, with 834 locations, and anticipates installing additional 33 individual locations this year. But because speed bumps cannot be deployed in all areas around schools, a comprehensive approach to traffic calming, including ASC, has proven effective in reducing vehicle speeds, changing driver behavior, preventing fatal collisions, and enhancing public safety. Whereas polling in Brampton demonstrates strong and consistent public support for ASC as a tool to reduce speeding, including Main Street research showing 65% overall support, and the city-led telephone town hall poll showing 86% of participants support for speed cameras near schools and parks to help curb speeding, and for speed cameras near schools and parks. Oh, that's redundant, sorry. Whereas despite clear evidence and proven results from cities like Brampton, municipalities were caught off guard by the Premier's sudden announcement to cancel ASC programs across the province, made without adequate notice and consultation. Whereas a preliminary estimate of private sector investment by companies delivering ASC indicates the creation of 62 jobs and $14 million of investment in the province. Whereas the Premier believes some municipalities have misused ASC, but this is no reason to shut down municipal ASC programs that have proven successful at changing driver behavior and improving public safety. Whereas the Premier's concerns regarding ASC can be addressed through amendments to provincial legislation, regulations, and program standards that enable municipalities to consistently utilize ASC without an outright ban on the technology, whereas Brampton's ASC program is considered best practice, and rather than banning, the Premier should meet with Mayor Patrick Brown and other municipal leaders to develop improved provincial legislation, regulations, and program standards related to ASC, whereas it is reckless to abandon what works and essential to maintain a program that preserves public safety and especially at very minimum safety in school locations. Whereas should the ASC program be canceled, the considerable municipal investments to implement this provincially shaped program must be reimbursed, and additional funding must be provided to implement alternate, although not necessarily effective, traffic calming measures. Therefore, be it resolved, the City of Brampton Council formally opposes the province's decision to abruptly cancel ASC, a public safety tool enabled through provincial regulations in December 2019, that a letter from Council be sent to the Premier, Minister of Transportation, local MPPs outlining Brampton's position, calling for the continuation of ASC, and Brampton Council requests that the Premier meet with Mayor Patrick Brown and other municipal leaders to negotiate consistent implementation across municipalities that utilizes best practices to uphold the public safety benefits of ASC, that the City of Brampton immediately implement the following ASC program enhancements to accommodate concerns and maintain the technology as an effective public safety tool. Limit the use of ASC cameras to school locations. I looked up how many schools we have in Brampton in the Catholic Board and Peel District School Board. We have 183 schools. Currently, we have 185 cameras in Brampton. Maintain existing threshold and implement variable threshold speeds. Maintain existing speed threshold during peak hours around schools, and implement a higher speed threshold for non-peak hours to enforce excessive speeding and stunt driving. C, develop and implement a process to limit the number of tickets that can be issued to a single license plate within a defined period of time, excluding excessive speeding or stunt driving. D, prohibit the operation of an ASC camera for 6 months following a speed limit change. E, require that surplus ASC revenues be reinvested in road safety related infrastructure initiatives and education. F, require that staff report annually to Council through the budget process on the allocation and use of surplus ASC revenues. G, require that staff report annually to Council on outcomes of the ASC program. And number four is about the provincial legislation that enabled the use of ASCs in 2019. So again, a reminder that this was the province encouraging municipalities to invest and utilize ASC as a public safety tool. So A, restrict the use of ASC to school locations. B, use of ASC in areas that do not contain schools must be approved by the Minister of Transportation, supported by data clearly demonstrating the need and a description of why alternative traffic calming measures are not suitable for the location. This opens the door so that even though perhaps there's a road in Brampton that is highly problematic, this opens the door to us negotiating with the province to put a speed camera there. C, eliminate provincial fees and charges from ASC tickets. Specifically, the fines or the charges that are collected by the province through their own regulation. MTO fee, currently $8.25 per ticket for providing registered license plate owner information, and the victim surcharge fee ranging from $10 to $125 or 25% of the fine for speeding offenses greater than 1,000, which is definitely stunt driving. D, develop a revised fee schedule for ASC tickets that reduces the cost of lower speed infractions while maintaining higher penalties for excessive speeding and stunt driving. E, extend voluntary electronic notification, so notifying drivers when they get a ticket through SMS or email so that they know right away that they've received the ticket. F, develop new signage to include language indicating that the location is speed camera enforced. G, develop more visible ASC signage that includes the speed limit. So on the signage, again, it is the provincial government who determines and regulates the signage. And so we are just following what the provincial government's legislation says. H, require municipalities to reinvest surplus ASC revenue into road safety related infrastructure initiatives and education.
I, require greater transparency from municipalities by implementing the following reporting requirements. Report annually to council on surplus ASC funds, require annual public reporting of program outcomes. These are things that in the previous clause we are going to be doing already in Brampton. J, establish program standards across all municipalities for key program elements like speed thresholds through a process led by the Ministry of Transportation and in consultation with municipalities to ensure consistency and transparency for all municipalities in Ontario. This piece is important because I know Ottawa is passing a motion suggesting that a working group with the province be put together in order to determine what those thresholds are. But in Brampton, our threshold is 100% best practice, and you could see from the average speed that a person is getting a ticket, it's 15.7 kilometers an hour. So in Brampton, we are doing it differently versus other municipalities. This would provide some consistency across the province. K, that the Ministry of Transportation provide greater oversight and enforcement of municipal ASC programs through regular audits. And number 5, that should the provincial government proceed with banning the use of ASC despite our Brampton's immediate actions to address concerns and our request to work collaboratively with the province and other municipalities to continue these programs, the province must reimburse municipalities for all costs incurred to implement ASC programs. And I know this is consistent with AMO as well. Number 6, staff be directed to report back on potential impacts of an ASC ban on Brampton's road safety strategy and financial investments. Number 7, that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Premier of Ontario, the Minister of Transportation, Brampton members of Provincial Parliament, local MPPs, that's redundant, across the region of Peel, all Ontario municipalities, the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police, and the Ontario Traffic Council. And number 8, big breath, that the city develop an advocacy campaign consistent with this motion. And that is the motion moved by myself, and I know that Mayor Brown and other members of council are seconding it as well. Thank you, Madam Clerk. You want me to repeat it over again, all 4 pages?
No, we're good. Thank you, Councilor Santos, for putting forward that motion. I have a bunch of speakers on the list. First up, Deputy Mayor Singh.
And thank you, Councilor Santos. Clearly you did your homework, and I heard reference to other municipalities, and I know you've been sharing that other municipalities are also interested, so I think this will take an approach where everybody sticks together. I would suggest all the council second, and I don't think anybody's going to have an issue. We talked about ASC cameras a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not going to repeat those comments. I think all the council was supportive. Only thing I would add is Councilor Tour initially did some media, then I did some media, and he was like, he told me people are supportive. I didn't believe him. And then when I did media, I realized people are supportive. And then we did a town hall yesterday and about this and other topics with an MPP, and he said, "Oh, I'm getting messages about ASC cameras," and I was like, maybe just saying it. And then I checked my phone and I had messages as well. So the pulse of the community, I think, reflects this motion. I think overall, people saw a huge impact on their streets. You talk to the residents who actually live in the houses where the cameras are, which are ultimately the people we're here representing. They support cameras and ASC, so more than happy to support this motion, and just wanted to, I guess, inform council colleagues and the public when we go out to the community, we're hearing much more support than we are support of our advocacy to keep the cameras than we are the other way around. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Singh. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair, and just really want to say thank you, Councilor Santos, for the advocacy and really talking about the AC cameras right here today. And the motion really kind of sums it all up. And, you know, the one thing that is true is changing driver behavior. It really is changing drivers' behavior. And Deputy Mayor was saying, you know, residents who live near AC camp, I live right beside a school. My kids walk to school, and I've never felt so safe. So hearing that around my neighbors, the residents around us, it really has been changing the behavior of drivers. So thank you again for everything you've done and all council members and staff who have worked together tirelessly on this. Thank you again.
Thank you, Councilor Broad. Councilor Medeiros.
Thank you, through Mr. Chair. Echo, thank you so much, Councilor Santos. You really showed leadership on this, and you put all this work. It's such a complete motion, and I thank you for your hard work on this, and staff who contributed. But really, you know, to really, if I've seen a perfect motion, this is it. So you've covered every angle, and it's interesting some of the comments. Ever since that the government announced that they would be removing it, I've never heard so many people come forward and say that, why are they doing that? They're supportive of it. So it really sort of emphasizes sometimes we get caught in on the people that we do hear that's silent, and there's there's a silent majority out there who support a lot of the things that we're doing here, and we often don't hear from them. And certainly this really, I think Bramptonians in general across the city, everywhere I go, I was at the Y, playing tennis, everywhere, speed cameras are top of mind. So thank you for all your leadership, and certainly Mayor Brown for always being on the right side of this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Medeiros. I had Councilor Peleshi on the list who came off, but I'll move Councilor Peleshi speak next. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I apologize for that. And I'll be really brief. Deputy Mayor, I think, summarized it. I won't repeat everything that we all said kind of last week. I just want to say thank you, Councilor Santos, for doing a tremendous amount of work on this and for fighting the fight. And I think all of council is right here with you. And I just, again, thank you so much for doing the work on this and putting this forward. Happy to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Peleshi. Councilor Fortini.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to Councilor Santos. And I do agree, you know, we were getting always complaints about speeding. Now we solved the problem, we kind of slowed it down, now they reversed everything. I was at a school, and I live right around the corner from a school, and I was talking to the principal, and all the teachers are very upset. And I know there's some residents that I was sitting with on the porch, and they were saying since they put the camera there, it slowed down a lot. So I don't understand why we're going back and forth here. We cannot have police over, so I want to thank you for the motion, and I will support it.
Thank you, Councilor Fortini and Councilor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to really give a shout out to Councilor Santos. Incredible work with this. We do appreciate your 4:30 a.m. text messages to follow up on it and making sure we're all in the loop as to what's happening. Your continuous communication on this motion in particular was above and beyond. So I really do appreciate that. And I do echo everything that my council colleagues have been saying. We've been hearing again and again, especially in myself and Councilor Medeiros' ward, about the need for more. It's not less. So those people that are asking for more are very upset that we're actually going to be taking them away under supposedly what the province is going to come in and do. So hopefully they change their mind in some way. Hopefully this motion reaches them and they understand that the needs of all the municipalities, is this road safety. So the stuff that they're bringing forward, I feel we've tried it and it didn't work as well. But we've said it around this table. It's multiple recommendations on a single road that actually make a difference. So it's cameras with speed bumps with signage. It's not just one or the other. So really appreciate all the work that was done on this and happy to support it.
Thank you, Councilor Keenan. Mayor Brown.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Tor, and to Councilor Santos, thank you for your work on this. You've been relentless in trying to craft the perfect motion. I would just add for Council's context that I'm part of a letter that Big City Mayors is writing for those of us in Ontario that felt the program protected public safety and have data to back it up. And so we are together writing a letter to the Premier on this, hopeful that they don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And we have not given up on our advocacy that this program should be retained in some form. You can always make a program better. And I would note the investments that cities like Brampton made. Unanimously, our council invested in building a processing center. Other cities did the same. You look at Ottawa. I was talking to Mayor Sutcliffe about the investments they made, the jobs that are at risk, and the tragedy of all this is it's it's working. It is working. And so I believe logic and safety is on the side of our arguments, and we will continue to collaboratively advocate to the province on data they may not, have before them, to show them the evidence that we have as cities that keep data on speeding, but also from the police. I know it's been suggested you could simply set up a speed trap. We've looked at those numbers with Peel Police. The cost would be exorbitant, impossible to achieve. And so this is using technology to keep the public safe, and I hope that our advocacy efforts will be successful.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Seeing there's no other speakers on the list, the motion is on the screen as moved by Councillor Santos, seconded by all of council. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you, and that motion carries. Moving on to our next section, we have no items in the economic development section. Next is corporate services. And item 9.2.2 was held by Councillor Palashi. Staff report, purchasing activity quarterly report, second quarter 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I got a few items here. I don't expect that we'll be able to answer all of them. Whatever ones can be answered, fantastic. They're across the corporation. But we'll start in community services. With respect to Appendix 2 of the report, we have in here number 9 and number 10, parks maintenance, the process, grass cutting and landscaping, two companies, Lima's Garden and Ontario Limited Aaron Mills Gardening, for two different amounts. But both of them are across the city. Sorry, three of them actually. There's another one for a smaller amount under the next number 11 too. Just wondering. I thought we split grass cutting up into areas, but yet the wards say that it's all across the city.
Through the chair to Councillor Plechy, so there's actually 9 areas, 5 based on wards. They don't align perfectly. I can send you the update after that. Area 1 equals this ward.
Oh, and they don't align
And then areas 6 and 7 are boulevards, I believe, and 8 and 9 are low, medium maintenance areas. So there's 9 areas. But happy to send you those wards after.
Okay, and then maybe just in the supplementary information, maybe we can just have that, and then that way in anything for future also, because there is some, what I'm seeing is duplication, and I don't understand it because we do split up by areas sometimes with, Public Works as well. So maybe if that, just in that information, it can be something further.
Absolutely.
If that's possible. Number 15, still under community services, is the supply and delivery of various types of fertilizer. I was always under the impression that we don't use fertilizer, the chemical of fertilizer, any longer. We haven't. I thought that we hadn't used it for a long time. If you can speak to it.
Through the chair, let me get back to you on that. I'm not sure if it's for hanging baskets or different types of things, but I'll follow back up.
Okay, and then number 20, the uncarbonated slush products for a 3-year period. That's Slush Puppy Canada for $246,000. The supply and delivery of uncarbonated slush products, various city locations for a 3-year period. Can I get a little bit more information into that? Also, what does, I assume that, I don't want to assume, but I assume that we sell the product and then it gets, we collect revenue on top of that. Could I also know what the revenue is on that as well? I don't think we have any of those products that we give away, but if we do, I want to know that as well. And then, is it the possibility of us looking at something, if it's cheaper to go our own route and own the products?
Through the chair, yeah, I can get you that information on the slush puppies. We also will be coming back to council with some information on concessions, probably about a month from now.
Oh,
which
excellent.
will include all of these type of items. If you can wait to then, I can
For
include
sure,
all that together.
for sure, yes, especially with the concessions, because you know that I've been talking about that for a long time. We'll go into corporate, support services. With respect to the Microsoft Enterprise, products and services, number 26 for 12 million. Can I just get some more information on that? I don't fully understand, the facilitating monthly licenses for seasonal staff, summer students, a $12 million, contract amount.
Sorry, through the chair, yeah, I can bring some more information back. It's also seasonal staff, so our, park staff and rec staff in the summer, so it'd be a lot more than just summer students, but I can bring back.
Yeah, no, and I thought, sorry, I thought I said seasonal and summer students. So yeah, just some additional information on that to fully understand what that is. Going to, number 37, the legislative services record storage services for a 3-year period. Is that hard copies? Or is it the data that we put in the cloud that you don't want to talk about because that's the cloud? But is it hard copies?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm not entirely sure, and I don't know if our clerk has details on that, so I need to get back to you on what's actually captured under that one.
Okay, and I just wonder and ask that, is it possibly legislated that we need to store hard copies, off-site and use a specific company to do that? I would maybe think that we do, but if we don't, could we start looking at maybe other options like, I think we have a lot of space at some other facilities, and a facility that we just purchased recently could possibly be outfitted for some kind of storage, if that's possible. But if you come back, that's great. Number 43, the planning and consulting. The consulting services for environmental site assessments. Commissioner Ganesh, can you talk a little bit more about this and as to why this particular wasn't under the consulting report, which was the next report?
Yeah, through you, Mayor Brown, through to Councillor Paleshi, we can bring some details back on that. I believe it's tied to a blanket contract that we have, that we do some work both for field investigations and sometimes for public works for BDC, but I can certainly report back. And then we can look to the discrepancy between reporting on this one and the consulting report.
Please, and with just respect that it says consulting services right off the top, I personally want that into that other report, but if you can, that'd be great. Staying with planning, 45, the landscape scale analysis update for the Heritage Heights community in Northwest Brampton. But it's a contract extension that was processed to include the work on Heart Lake Road from Sandalwood and New Pines Trail, very far away from Heritage Heights.
Through you, Councillor Torja, Councillor Paleshi, that's probably a database labeling issue, because it's, to your point, that area is definitely outside of the Heritage Heights geography, so we'll clarify that.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, Public Works, number 54, overhead door replacement at Williams Parkway Operations Center. Is that the brand new Operations Center that we have to, is that what we're talking about? The replacement of overhead doors? Peter, if you don't stretch, like you can come back, right? And I would appreciate the response back. Staying with Public Works, the flooring replacement and renovation at McMurtry Recreation Center in Ward 9. I don't think Ward 9 has a McMurtry Recreation Center. If I can, I don't know if it's Gore or if it's different, Councillor Keenan and Medeiros' ward. I don't know what that is, so if that could be if it's Gore, then I want to know more information. Okay. Moving on to Gore Road, or Gore Recreation Community Center, the localized roof drain repair at Gore Meadows. any repairs that I would hope that have to do with Gore Meadows, I would assume there's some kind of warranty. And if there isn't a warranty because of issues in the past, then that's a bigger issue for us, I think. But can we find out more information on that one? There's the road resurfacing project for Rafat for 10 million, and then there was, sorry, it doesn't really have to do with the number, the 69, but and then there was other road resurfacings in the east end, and so I just I wanted to understand all together, because the Rafat one for 10 million was wards 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 5 and 4 that are missed in there yet. The only where I see Rafat mainly is on 5 in Ward 5 and Ward 4. Currently, now they're spreading out and moving into Ward 2. They're up on Huron, Ontario now, doing something, and they're in other parts of the city. But I don't see that in here. Is that something separate?
Through the chair to Councilor Pellicci, that particular contractor received both the 2024 and 2025 contracts. A lot of the work from 2024 was delayed into 2025, so it could very well be that it's 2024 work, but I'll confirm that and confirm for you.
Please, thank you. The 79, 80, and 81 are all three competitive consulting services, assessments of designated substances for asbestos. All three different prices, but all three same summary information. Can I get more information on that? And also, we still use asbestos? Is another question that I would have. And I know asbestos has, in terms of, I just know people that have died from asbestosis. It's a terrible, terrible, insulating tool, and I know Canada is still one of the leading producers of asbestos. But I know they've changed. They write on it now, do not dry cut. But I would question why we still use that product, and is there other products? Could you look into? And then why all three of the same, three different companies with three different prices? Can I ask security to ask the people in the back to be quiet, please? Thank you. Sorry.
Through the chair, Councilor Pellicci, certainly we'll take a look and confirm the scope of work and also the contract breakdown for those three contracts.
Yes, thank you. It looks like that's all I had. I think there's nothing to hold or anything like that. I'm just asking for further information to come back. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
So, Councilor Pellicci, is it your intent to have this come back at council next week with all that additional information and some of those fixes?
No, I don't think so. Like, this is past. Like, we've made those recommendations. Council supported on those. What I actually would ask, though, is that the future report, in consulting and this one, the purchasing activity report, I would like these reports to reference when council made the decision on. I'd like it to reference the other reports, past reports, is what I would like for each of the line items. I don't think that's too much, but through the HTML, I hope you'd be able to click on that and go back to that past report or any reports that have led up to the activity purchasing report. I think that would be helpful for council to make future decisions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Would that be taken as direction to staff? Okay. With that, I have a motion moved by Councilor Pellicci. Oh, sorry.
These questions, a lot of these should be pretty straightforward. I think we should be equipped to answer those quickly. Like asbestos, I just Googled, can you still use asbestos in Canada? It says you haven't been able to since 2018. And so you're right. And so, like, I think some of those headings are a little bit confusing. Hopefully when we describe services, it's very clear. If it's asbestos replacement, I get that and that's warranted, but I think more clarity sometimes, and it's printed so small, it's actually difficult to read these. I was looking through them this morning with Councillor Keenan, and so I think just maybe in future, if we have more of a reader-friendly format for us to actually digest all this.
Yeah, or maybe, and I had to pull my cheaters out. Yes, I have cheaters now. But that's rather here nor there. I know a lot of the answers can be next week, I think at council. But for some of the other stuff, I don't know who has to get into the providing us the additional, providing us with the past reports. It sounds like a kind of clerk's office and the possibility of each department. So that's obviously something further down the road. But
Perfect. Seeing no, thank you, Councillor Paleshi. Seeing no other comments on this, have a motion moved by Councillor Paleshi to receive the staff report. All in favor? Seeing nobody opposed, this motion carries. Our next item is added item 9.3.1, was an item added by Councillor Paleshi regarding 311 reporting and escalations. Councillor Paleshi, you have the floor.
thank you, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Chair, through you, to members of committee, we've talked about this in the past, the escalation of complaints through, through our offices. Residents kind of, complaining about stuff in the past and not feeling like they're being heard. And now they have that direct line of communication through your office. And then it's sometimes difficult for our office to reach out and talk to whomever we need to talk to start kind of that, what they call them now, COBE numbers, used to be reference numbers, but trying to get something started. I understand that 311 and other departments would like the residents to go directly through 311. But I would just like to say that sometimes that's not possible. We always try and encourage residents to use that tool for data collection. We always ask, our office always asks for COBE numbers and whatever we can ask for. But anytime that we reach out, or even I know that other offices have had some issues just trying to get some of the reporting handled through our offices, start kind of that process. So I need to put this in a direction and not staff direction, an actual motion, to ensure that the council offices, through whomever we're discussing this with, that it gives them the ability to start that that reference or COBE numbers without having to go back to the residents. And if your departments need our staff to be able to ask the residents specific questions, please provide that to us, and we'll certainly get that information. In the past, it's always been a question: can we use your contact information? Was the biggest thing when it was early on in council. We needed to start asking that question. But it's standard now, and we ask those questions. But in terms of just helping out the residents to the best of our ability, if we can have that come out of our office and not be an issue in the future, I would appreciate that.
Sorry, Councillor, through the chair. So, are you looking for the offices to be able to initiate a COBE, create one, or to specifically to take?
Here's the information. Go ahead and create the COBE number for. I don't think we create the COBE. We just need to be able to ask staff.
Do it on behalf of the resident. Got it.
In particular, and I think it's mainly ledge services that we need that support just to have them come back to say, yep, we hear you, and we'll take it and go with it, and then we can always reach out to the resident.
So we'll work with the 311 team and develop kind of a template for council offices so that we can ensure that your offices get the information necessary for the requests. Thanks.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the motion to be on the screen, if Councillor Paleshi would guide that.
Sure. Yeah, just directing staff to review revised 311 reporting system to ensure Kobe's. Do you want, I have some wording written down. Do you want just the bottom 2 points, please?
Madam Clerk, I think the intent is for, sure, if Councillor Keenan wants to get on board.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just while we're waiting, just based on it being 311, I want to give a shout out to 311. Myself and Councillor Medeiros had a town hall, and we had the representative of 311, I believe it was Roma, Rita, and Shauna that were there. And, you know, they had a lot of recommendations coming in from our residents on things that could help, you know, in the process or the gaps that may be missing. They met with all of those residents and are implementing those changes to make it better. So I just really wanted to take this opportunity to publicly thank you guys and your team for that. Incredible work, and that's what it's about. So I can't see this taking long because they're great at making those changes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Keenan, for the nice, kind filler words. But thank you to staff, definitely. Okay, if Councillor Paleshi, if that's the motion you intend to move, that's on screen. Okay, taken as read. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, that motion carries. Thank you, Councillor Paleshi. Moving on to council question period. Do any members have any questions regarding the corporate services section? Seeing none. Public question period. Do any members of public have any questions for this section of the agenda? Seeing none, we will move on to our public works and engineering section. First item is 10.1.1, a staff presentation regarding active transportation master plan implementation, Howden Boulevard, bicycle lanes, boards 7 and 8. Fernanda, you have the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Mayor Brown and members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to present today on the Howden Boulevard cycling and road safety improvements. This presentation will provide a background on Brampton's active transportation framework, summarize some findings from our technical review and community engagement, and conclude with staff's recommendation for next steps. Next slide, please. Since 2019, Brampton has been transforming how we move through the city. Council has endorsed our first ever active transportation master plan that year, setting out a bold vision, a safe, connected network of walking, cycling, and other mobility options fully align with the Brampton 2040 vision. Brampton has also adopted a complete streets approach through its official plan, which means designing roads for everyone, not just cars, but also pedestrians, cyclists, transit users. Some key elements of this approach include wider sidewalks, protected bike lanes, accessibility for transit stops, and traffic calming features. One major proposal of the ATMP was the east-west cycling corridor, a 7-kilometer protected route along Vaden Street, Howden Boulevard, and Hanover Road. This corridor was first introduced as an interim bike lane back in 2020 during the pandemic, and then upgraded to buffered bike lanes in 2021, and in 2024 completed with permanent protected lanes. Council has now asked staff to explore further improvements to this corridor with a particular focus on Howden Boulevard. Next, please. So Howden Boulevard is home to schools, parks, and community spaces, and it plays a vital role in Brampton's expanding east-west cycling network. It connects residents to major destinations, including Chinguacousy Park, the future Howden Recreation Center, local schools, and north-south cycling routes such as the Central Park bike lanes, Esker Lake Trail, and Chinguacousy Trail. Some assumptions and community perceptions about the corridor that we need to consider was that the corridor is essential to meeting future mobility needs in Brampton. We have seen currently major construction projects happening on Williams Parkway and Dixie Road that are currently impacting traffic flow on Howden, even though measures like signal timing have been introduced. Some residents feel that the cycling lanes are unused or underused, and some residents also express concerns about congestion, especially on the fact that this project came along with the implementation of a road diet. So where 4 lanes of traffic were decreased to 2, and also about missing the right turning lanes on certain intersections. In the last 6 months, between 100, 150 cyclists on average use the corridor each day, according to data collected by us. And users appreciate the quality of the facility, the safety, the maintenance. These were things we heard from cyclists. Next slide, please. A part of our monitoring process regarding the operational feedback we got from stakeholders, we talked with services from our colleagues from Brampton Transit, Brampton Fire, Peel Waste Services, Paramedic Services, and Road Maintenance. No formal complaints or operational concerns were reported. We talked to all parts involved. Brampton Fire, for example, crews are saying that they're managing well with no significant operational impacts due to the bike lanes. Brampton Transit reported to us that service changes in 2024 focus on passenger capacity, not the bike lanes, and increased service frequency, improved travel times. So no staff or public concerns were raised regarding the bike lanes. Regarding waste collection, crews have adapted well to the bike lanes. That's what they report. We had a joint review with transportation planning staff and regional staff to confirm that there were no operational issues. In regards to road maintenance and operations in the city, the maintenance requirements for the protected bike lanes were integrated into the existing service, and the operations are functioning effectively under the current configuration. Next slide, please. To evaluate the traffic performance, staff analyzed queue timing at key intersections. The queue traffic analysis measures how long vehicles wait at traffic lights. So we contracted traffic impact analysis that filmed both intersections, Dixie Road and Williams Parkway, for 3 typical days before schools closed for summer to collect data on how these intersections were performing at the morning and the evening peak hours. What we observed was on Howden and Dixie, eastbound cars wait about 72 seconds in the morning and 52 seconds in the evening on average. Right turns see lower wait times, 48 seconds in the morning and 29 in the evening on average. At Howden and Williams, the northbound traffic queues average 45 seconds in the morning and 27 in the evening, and for vehicles turning right, the average time in queue is 47 seconds in the morning and 37 in the evening peak. Now keep in mind that the total signal cycle length for these intersections varies from 120 to 160 seconds. That's the time it takes for lights to go from green, yellow, red, and green again. The results showed that despite public perception, these are manageable wait times, and the changes we propose on the corridor will continue to balance traffic flow and safety. Next, please. So a few years ago, Howden was converted from 4 lanes to through a road diet. This allowed us to introduce the bike lanes while calming traffic. The results were positive. Vehicle speeds dropped, and this was before we implemented ASC on the corridor, as well as traffic volume and cut-through traffic, which is the vehicles that use the local residential roads to bypass congestion on main roads or arterials. And more people started biking, so we saw a relevant increase in the number of bikes we see in the corridor. Now, if we go back to 4 lanes, we risk reversing some of these gains and increasing speeds, collisions, and traffic volumes potentially. Next, please. So in response to the council direction from earlier, staff from Transportation Planning and Public Works and Engineering developed the following strategy to address council's direction. We developed and tested the feasibility of 4 alternatives, including the relocation of the entire bike lane into the boulevard and an option that will transition the existing protected bike lanes into the boulevard at intersections to accommodate the exclusive turn lanes at Dixie and Williams Parkway. For each option, staff conducted the analysis in support of the council requests relating to road safety, maintenance costs, and adverse effects to all road users. Staff met with Active Transportation Advisory Committee to present the proposed options, to solicit feedback, and to inform our community engagement. We also delivered 4 in-person public information centers to share information and collect feedback on all these conceptual designs. The engagements were hosted at public locations at different days and hours to allow a broad participation. Next, please. At a very high level, the conceptual design for each of the 4 alternatives were tested against the existing conditions, and the following metrics formed the basis for comparison. So estimated costs, including utility and removals, number of vehicle lanes, number of trees and streetscape impacts, maintenance requirements and costs, time to implement, cycling facility on one or both sides of the road, and whether pedestrians and cyclists will be separated or share a space. Next, please. Another part of our evaluation was conducting what is called a multimodal level of service analysis. And this analysis underscores several important considerations for decision-making and measure how well a street or road works for different users: drivers, cyclists, pedestrians, transit. The analysis considers elements like road design, comfort, safety, capacity, etc. And the results from the analysis show that simply reversing the road diet and restoring the 4 lanes of traffic would actually not improve level of service for any mode, and would forfeit the safety and traffic calming benefits already achieved, such as lower speeds and reduced cut-through traffic. Second, a higher cost alternative do not necessarily correspond with significantly better outcomes in terms of level of service. In contrast, low-cost alternatives, such as option 4, you can see in the graph, can meet or exceed performance targets and maintain the operational and safety gains from the road diet. The MMLOS, as we call framework, reminds us that the goal is not just moving cars quickly, but ensuring that our streets function well for everyone: walkers, cyclists, drivers, and transit users. Next, please. The community engagement for this project was very extensive. We had more than 449 website visits, We mailed letters inviting the public to participate. So 7,300 people received those letters. Over 110,000 were reached through social media about this project. We had 115 attendees at our in-person events, and 1,200 people, more than 1,200 people responded to our survey online. The top findings from this engagement were that many supported returning to 4 lanes, but the top priority was safety. Respondents valued reduced speeds, lowered traffic volumes, and preserved green space. Cost, timing, and the presence of the turn lanes were also highly important, which supports option 4 as a practical solution. Next, please. Based on all evidence and facts considered, staff is then recommending option 4, which is the option that targets cycle tracks implementation at the intersections of Dixie Road and Williams Parkway. This approach is the fastest, the most cost-effective to implement, addresses traffic concerns at key intersections, maintains the safety benefits of the road diet, and minimizes impacts on trees and streetscape. Option 1, the multi-use path, remains a long-term possibility, but it requires more time, higher cost, and greater impacts. The recommended option has an estimated cost of $730,000 and can be funded by reprioritizing within the active transportation budget for next year. Next, please. Well, in conclusion, the recommended option strikes the right balance. It addresses traffic concerns, protects safety gains, and reflects both community input and fiscal responsibility. Thank you, Mayor and Council members, for your time, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Fernanda, for that excellent presentation. I have Councilor Santos on the board to speak.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to Fernanda, Nelson, Henrik, Steve, and staff for really taking us through an extensive process on this particular project. Since Leo wants us to say thank you to folks, I'm going to say thank you to the local councilors, Councilor Frattini, Councilor Power, for making sure we do our due diligence and listen to the various voices from residents. But when we're faced with such controversial issues, such as speed cameras, for example, I've been a huge advocate of making sure we take evidence-based decisions. And I know that sometimes there are misperceptions out there in terms of what is safe on our roads, what is not safe on our roads. But just like the ASC situation that we are facing right now, in this case, based on the presentation, the feedback, the studies, the evidence shows particularly support for option number 4. And I'm going to go to, if you may, Madam Clerk, go to slide number 8. So based on slide number 8, we can see which one will have the least budget impact, especially when the City of Brampton and the region of Peel and the province and the federal government and our property taxpayers are telling us we need to be very diligent in how we spend our money. And in option number 4, we could actually reprioritize our active transportation budget to accommodate this. If we could go to slide number 9. So slide number 9 also shows, based on evidence and data, that we maintain all the public safety benefits and all of the different things in terms of a mode-by-mode evaluation and mobility. So I'll ask to Fernanda, does option 4, I won't even ask about the status quo because we know that the status quo right now will change, but does option 4 uphold the principles in the mobility plan that we just passed as a council last week?
Yes, it does. So you can see from the graph that the current situation, so that this analysis is done based on targets. So each type of road has a specific target for each mode of transportation. Given the configuration of Howden Boulevard and the type of infrastructure we have there, we are currently on levels that might not reach the target, for example, for pedestrians, because we don't have as many mid-block crossing opportunities, but it does in fact, because it returns the right turning lanes and makes those intersections safer and gain a little bit of capacity, it actually improves a little bit for the cars. And that's why we see an improvement there for the mode drive. In regards to our mobility plan recently endorsed, yes, this project and option 4 keep the safety, so the Vision Zero elements, keeps a cycling infrastructure that is safe and comfortable for cyclists, protected from traffic, while also providing enough space for cars. So the capacity of this road was over-designed, as you guys could read in the report. It was designed for a much higher capacity than the current flow of traffic. And that's why we believe that this is going to be maintained. And it upholds the mobility plan principles of providing an equitable mobility for all road users.
Thank you, Fernanda. And if we go to slide number 10. Okay, so this is interesting because even though folks, when asked what option they prefer, if you look at chart number 1, what is consistent in terms of what is most important to those surveyed, actually it is option number 4. So time it takes to finish construction. Option 4 is 7 months and all the other options are higher. Cost to design and build. Option 4 is the cheapest. Preserving trees and green space. Option 4 had only, well, and I know this is important to Councillor Fortini, option 4 only has 1 tree, I believe, that gets cut down, versus all the other options. I believe, Fernanda, how many trees get cut down on the other options?
Anywhere between 50 and 100 and so. So yeah, some of the options we evaluated remove a considerable amount of trees.
Presence of turning lanes, option 4 has that. Reducing traffic volume based on the evidence and data, option 4 is the best option. Reducing traffic speed based on the data, option 4 is the best option. And safety of all road users, option 4 is the best option. And so again, similar to the evidence regarding ASC, like, I get it, it's tough. It's tough sometimes when the perception is out there and the loud minority is out there complaining about changes, particularly when it comes to us trying to change behavior. I get it. It's not easy to face that. But we are on council to make evidence-based decisions. And the evidence demonstrates and supported by public consultation that the priorities of those surveyed isn't in alignment with option 4. And so I'm not going to pass option 4 right now because I believe that the local councillors would like to refer this matter to budget for consideration. However, if a vote were to be made right now on an option 4, I just want to remind folks that, again, in parallel to what we're doing with ASC, the evidence demonstrates, even through public consultation and survey, that option 4 makes the most sense. And so if and when the time comes and this is presented again at budget, especially because it is also the cheapest option by more than 2 times cheaper, I will certainly be advocating for the option that is backed by evidence and data. Thanks, Fernanda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Santos. Seeing that we're also getting into the staff report, we'll bring that up at this time as well, and I have Councilor Power on the board.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair, thanks for bringing up the report. Thank you to staff for all the work that you've done. This is quite a comprehensive report. I haven't seen a report like this for anything else in the city in the 3 years that I've been here. There's reports after reports after reports. I do have a couple questions. I know in January we asked for this report to come forward. I asked for some data from Peel Police to be labeled in the report about what has changed in the intersections of Dixie and Howden, as well as Howden and Waynes Parkway. Do you have that specific there?
We do, Councillor. We do have some data that we got from Peel Police on collision data. We have the annual totals from 2019 to 2024 for all types of collisions, so motor vehicle, pedestrian, cyclist collisions. Although collision data can be very useful in monitoring the safety, for reviewing a corridor like this, it should be used as one input, and we see that the increase, let's say, in collisions on the corridor were consistent because we also collected data for the whole ward. So we saw the same percentage of increase in collisions as we see with the increase of volume on our roads. So the correlation there, we cannot associate a causal effect of the bike lanes to collisions. What we saw was a correlation between the increase in collisions across time, this timeline from 2019 to 2024, that coincides with the overall increase in the whole ward due to a higher number of cars, basically.
So the bike lanes didn't change collisions?
The bike lanes protected lives of pedestrians and cyclists, but it didn't cause collisions.
So
it protected people from collisions.
What was the difference between pedestrian vehicle collision, bike vehicle collision from 2019 to 2024?
So we have
Just
some
those-
numbers
just
here.
those two,
I can
not
just
collisions.
say the numbers. Yeah. So we had around 20 on 2019 motor vehicle collisions, 13 2020. This was the pandemic, so lower volumes of cars on the road. 15 2021, 25 in 2022, 31 in 2023, and 44 in 2024. And these are exactly consistent with the percentage increase for the ward
But they're
overall.
not specific to pedestrian versus vehicle or
We have the
bike versus
pedestrians and
vehicle?
cyclists as well. So 2019, we had one cyclist involved in a collision, 0 in 2020, 1 in 2021, 0, 0, and 1 2022, 3, and 4.
So it hasn't affected anything for bike versus vehicle collisions? Right,
Can you repeat?
That's fine. Can you, out of the budget for design, you guys spent $13,000. What was that for?
$13,000 for design?
You spent $13,000 out of the 170 that we are allocated for design work. If you go to page 14 of the report.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so these are from our financial application section. There is the money for this detailed design is coming from one specific project that was approved for this year. The budget was $170,000, and we spent this in the delivery of the conceptual designs, all the activities we made. You want to talk? Sure.
Through the chair, thanks for the question. This is a public works account, and perhaps Peter and his group can provide. I'm guessing it's probably an internal recovery of staff time that have worked on the development of the alternatives.
Through the chair to Councillor Power, there was some survey work done to determine the feasibility of alignment shown in the option. So that is the staff cost basically to come up with that.
Okay, thank you. So whenever you're doing any type of surveys, typically you have a baseline. can you explain why we didn't ask the public if they were interested in removing the bike lanes totally? If there was a option 5?
So the direction of council was for us to evaluate removing the bike lanes from the road to the boulevard. There was no direction to evaluate a scenario where we wouldn't have any cycling infrastructure on the road. That's why.
Okay, so with that being said, I would like to also refer this to budget, but I'd also like to ask the Office of the CAO to review these numbers, specifically in the budgeting of the different options of the 4 options that we have, but also what would it be to remove the bike lanes totally from Howden? What would be the cost of it? So an option 5, if I could. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor Power. I have Councilor Fortini on the board.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. And, you know, this is a hard decision. You know, I've gone on Leander. A lot of people love it. I've gone on Lendridge there. We had a town hall. They don't like it because it's closer to the main road to make your turns. And I tried to get in there one night around 6 o'clock. Trying to get in there one night around 6 o'clock. It was very hard to make your left turn. So, you know, during our budget coffee chats, a lot of times the mayor says it's up to the area councilors to remove it. And a couple of people mentioned that to me. So maybe we'll send it out to budget and maybe, you know, it's not only Howden, and I know Hanover's having a problem too with those high rises. They can't park on the road when they do the maintenance. There's no parking. So maybe we have to look at how we can do it. I know it's very hard to put on the boulevard because of the trees, the infrastructure there. You know, they should have been put there a long time ago. And now we just have to face the facts. Maybe, I don't know, maybe move the concrete barriers. We got to look at other options too. So we'll send it out to budget and we'll see what happens in the budget. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fortini. So as I understand, what Councilor Power intends to move is that this report be referred to when we do the budget. Okay. And that to include the CAO's office to look at these numbers in the report and have an option 5 as part of that.
Bike lane, or the cost of what would be the cost of the removal of the bike lane in its current state? So the curbs and what have you.
To do a cost analysis? Okay. I have more speakers on the board. Councilor Palashi?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When it comes down to, you know, this report and what the area councilors want to do, I'm supportive of what they want to do for, you know, for this particular piece. They know their residents best, and but I think when it comes down to it, if we're going to get serious about bike lanes across the city, then we need to start getting serious about bike lanes across the city, especially in terms of servicing them. Okay, if we're going to be serious about bike lanes, then they need to be serviced just as much, if not better, than we service our roads. And in particular, in the winter, in the spring, and in the fall. When Councillor Barr and myself moved the motion a while ago now to make sure that we have the main arterial spine roads across the city, I've yet to see anything come back on that. But yet, you know, there's a lot of discussion about this, yet we just supported $230 million a year for the next how many years in last council. Nobody asked one question. $2.9 billion that we just supported, but nobody asked one question. Now, I know it went through, you know, I certainly had the ability to hear from staff in my pre-agenda meeting when it went to planning, but then when it went to council last week, there wasn't any questions about it. So if we're actually going to be serious and get serious, then let's be serious and get serious. And I hope you understand in terms of what I'm saying. You know, it's like building a city. If you're gonna build a city, let's build the city, but let's build some bike lanes. Let's move some people, right? Think of bike lanes like transit, like the road network, like what we currently have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Paleshi. Councillor Santos.
Thank you, Councillor, or thank you, through you, Mr. Chair, thank you, Councillor Paleshi, for bringing that up, because I shared earlier that, and staff confirmed, that option number 4 actually is consistent with the mobility plan, which talks about everything that Councillor Paleshi just shared. And I read the mobility plan. I attended the briefing with staff on it. And which is why, again, I need to point out, if Madam Clerk, you could go to slide number, I think 9. It's either 9 or 10. Right, here it is. Slide number 9. It shows, based on the mobility plan and the mode-by-mode evaluation of how each design performs, again, it's option number 4 that upholds what we just passed at council last week. And then again, if you look at slide number 8, in terms of fiscal responsibility, option 4 is still the best option. And then if you look at slide number 10, even though the perception from folks is that option 1A and 1B, they prefer that option, the reality is when you look at chart number 1, and I went through it one by one, the majority of the people who were surveyed, option 4 actually meets the priority and the criteria that they prefer the most on every single level. So again, evidence-based decision-making is also why we are here at the table. And I look at you, Fernanda, and various cyclist advocates and people who believe in Vision Zero, that this major artery for cyclists is so important as part of our ATMP and our mobility plan. And again, just like the speed cameras, there is proven data and evidence that it is keeping people safe. So, you know, I'm not going to go on and on about it because I know it's being referred to budget. But Councillor Paleshi is right. Like, you can't say, yes, we believe in the mobility plan, multimodal share, keeping our roads safe, Vision Zero, and then here before us, there's all this evidence supported by public feedback. That's very specific public feedback. And then we're saying, well, let's look at something else because we're not convinced enough. Anyway, I have nothing further to say. I will support the referral to the budget, but from my perspective, based on evidence, number of trees cut, amount of traffic congestion, speeding that it's going to mitigate, cut through traffic that it has mitigated, slowing down cars, protecting vulnerable users of the road, that particular option 4, and dealing with congestion at major bottleneck points at intersections, option 4 makes the most sense, most rational sense based on evidence and data. Thanks, Councillor Paleshi, for pointing that out.
Thank you, Councillor Santos. I just want to provide some clarification that the motion that's on the floor is to refer this to the budget office and not selecting an option. That's correct, right? Okay. With that, I have Councillor Power.
Thank you, through the chair. Councillor Paleshi is 100% right. If we're going to do bike lanes, let's do it and let's be serious about it. Bramalea is a walkable community. It has been for more than 50 years. It has the trails, it has the networks, it has the ability to keep people safe and have the ability for accessibility of all ages and all modes of transportation. The challenge is that it's north-south. So I'm 100% in favor of doing something east and west. But if east and west doesn't connect, to anything, or if it doesn't connect to existing trails that are already there, or if it doesn't do the justice that we did and we just slap paint on a roadway, then we're doing it wrong. So let's get serious and do it right. Let's build a proper network. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Power. Councilor Fortini.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification to the staff, if we pick option 4, is about 700 and something thousand. And how long will that take to do? About 7 months?
So through the chair to Councillor Fortini, option 4 could be designed and tendered in the spring of next year and constructed in the summer of next year.
And if it's option 1, then it would be a lot more money. It's about $6 million plus trees. And how long will that take after the design?
Design would probably take about 8 months. It would really determine at that point on the extent of the utility relocation work, which will be confirmed through the detailed design stage. But if I had to guess, I would anticipate that could pour into 2027 in terms of the construction if there's a significant amount of utility relocation work required.
Yeah, okay, and that's a lot on the, I know it's the mayor's budget, you know, and it's a lot on the taxpayers, and I don't, we're doing that. But I think, you know, sending it to budget, looking at the 700,000 for now, at least it's a quick fix, because having the meeting there, at least they could start making turns, and maybe we could look in the future how we could fix it better, or just remove them completely. You know, removing them completely or doing this is just going to trigger other roads too, because I know Hanover is complaining, North Park is complaining, and it's like a trigger. You do it for one, you have to do for all. We just don't represent one area. So we'll send it to budget, and I'm hoping maybe option 4 would be the best. At least they can start having their turn lanes, because that's the main issue on some of those roads. They cannot make left turns, and we could start right away and then look in the future too. Maybe remove them completely or come up with different options. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fortini. Seeing the motion on the screen and don't have any speakers on the list, if the chair could be heard on this. Thank you, Councillor Peleshi. I like the idea of referring this to the mayor's budget. I'm not usually favor of doing budget amendments middle of the year. And I think we're not making a concrete decision here in either direction. I think this is, if it's coming down to the numbers on how much each of the options cost, seeing that option 4 is the lowest cost option, but seeing that Council Power would like to see another option on there, I think this is a good move to have the set budget, to have this discussion there when we're spending at minimum with option 4, $750,000, or it could be more, but at most we're spending multi-million dollars. I think we really need to think that through. So with that, no other speakers on the list. This motion on the screen moved by Councillor Power. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, this motion carries. And the motion to receive staff presentation also moved by Councillor Power. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, that motion also carries. Thank you. Thank you for that staff presentation. Moving on to our next item, Councillor question period. Do any members have any questions regarding this section? Seeing none, do any members of public have any questions regarding this section of the agenda? Seeing none, I will move on to, we have our next section. We have no items in the community services section or legislative services section. So the next item is item 14, which is public question period. I will ask the clerk if there's any questions that were submitted during the course of this meeting.
Dear Chair, there are no questions online.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Our next item will be item 15, closed session business. Item 15.1 was held by Councillor Peleshi, a closed session report, proposal for a 2-year artificial intelligence pilot proof of concept program. I have a motion. With that, I have a motion moved by Councillor Peleshi to move into closed session to deal with this item. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, this motion also carries. Madam Clerk, what time do? Okay, thank you. In the continuing interest of transparency and open government, I will report in public session any outcomes from today's closed session business. As a result of our closed session today, I wish to report the following. Item 15.1, this item was considered in closed session and direction was given to staff, including the following motion arise for consideration in open session. The motion is on the screen, moved by Councillor Palashi, taken as read. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. Thank you, Councillor Palashi. Our next item is adjournment. Committee is next scheduled to meet Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025, 9:30 a.m. I have a motion moved by Councillor Keenan to adjourn today's meeting. All in favor? Any opposed? Seeing none, thank you. That motion carries. The meeting is adjourned.